This is All India Radio. In the program Spotlight, now we bring you a discussion on government's transformative efforts for the holistic development of Northeast India. The participants are Nava Thakuria, senior journalist, and Arjun J. Chaudhary, AIR correspondent.
Mr. Thakuria, it has been a long-standing trend that development has always been neglected for Northeast India. How is it that it has changed now? What are the efforts by the government to ensure that the Northeast is not neglected? In fact, the development has already begun.
I believe there is some historical background in the percent of people living in the mainland India. They often feel that Northeast is actually not Indian. So that has the history, but slowly, after the new central minister has come to the power, even second time, lot of initiative has been taken place. First, lot of central ministers started visiting the Northeast. In fact, many people believe in Delhi that Northeast is a one block, but it's too diverse. So to understand Northeast, to visit the people, to visit the location is very, very important. So under Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, he has taken a very great initiative that let the central minister visit the location, visit the Northeast state, 8 Northeastern states. So that actually changed the mindset of the people. A lot of confusion among the people of mainland India, including the politicians. So political will was somehow not seen. And because of that turmoil situation, the local people in Assam and other parts of Northeast India, we are actually thought of only surviving, not of development, not of other progress. So soon after peaceful situation started existing, most of the militant group started surrendering, coming to mainstream India. So then government of India started working. You will be surprised, in 1995, there is no celebration of Independence Day and Republic Day in entire Northeast India. Because the militant group believe that we don't supposed to celebrate the Independence Day. It's Indian colonialism in Northeast India. They believe that we are actually independent from the mainland India. After only Yandabu Agreement in 1826, we become part of India. That is their argument. But it was thoroughly rejected by the people. Now we can see a lot of fanfare in all celebration, all national celebration. And many Northeastern icons like Lasit Borfukan, then Konoklota Burua, Kukhol Kaur, those are actually appreciated by the nationalist people across the country. So it has changed by both the way. First, political will. Secondly, the people of Northeast started thinking that we are actually Indian by nation, but we have a diverse ethnicity. A lot of diverse people live in this part of the world, also really diverse environmental situation, and surrounded by all foreign countries. Is really strategically important area. From Nepal to Bhutan to Tibet, that is China, Myanmar and Bangladesh. So it's very, very implicable that anything happen in Tibet on environmental issue, it affects us. Anything happen in Bangladesh, it affects us. So we need a really proactive government in New Delhi as well as the respective capital cities. That somehow we are now thinking that it has happened. And once the minister started coming, we started showcasing our own problem as well as potentiality. So that way, it is change of process. Even in the media, the mainstream media also thought Northeast is not part of India. So that has been changed. So in win-win situation, we started believing that all Northeastern are more Indian than any other mainland Indian. And the Indian people start thinking, okay, this part of India is really our Indian. And people of this part of the country also support the freedom movement. People who were hanged from this region. In 42 movement, only one martyr was hanged, that's Kukhol Kaur from Assam. So it happened. In Konoklota Bura, hardly 15 or 16-year-old girl, she sacrificed to salute the tricolor in Gaupur police station in Assam during the British period. So that has been now exposed. So once the people-to-people contact started, terrorism has gone down, insurgency gone down, and we are thinking about development progress and to think about not in Northeast India, but to think about the eastern part of Northeast India, that is the Southeast Asia region. So we are actually west of Southeast Asia, and that way we become the gateway for entire India to the southeastern countries. So it also we have a ministry. It is very typical that one region has a specific ministry, donor ministry, develop a northeastern region. And earlier it was very typically one minister placed in the donor ministry and he is functioning as a minister. But now I believe under Prime Minister leadership, G. Kishan Reddy has shown some interest. He has visited the place and lot of money has been pumped in the region. Hopefully all this will be implicated, pledged with all prudential, with time-bound manner, And actually the people of Northeast India will see that India, we are also developed, we are also progressive in many sense, like any other Indian living in, suppose, Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi or Hyderabad.
So, Mr. Thakuria, just for the record, we have Shri G. Kishan Reddy, who is the Union
Yes.
Minister for the Development of the Northeastern region. You mentioned about donor, and they're continuing with the ministry scheme with an outlay of 12,882 crore rupees for the rest of the term of the 15th Finance Commission till 2025-26. There is also an immediate rollout of telecom infrastructure over the next 500 days. How do you see the cabinet involvement with donor under Prime Minister Modi ensuring that telecom infrastructure is more easily available to the Northeast region?
Yeah, telecom is very important because Northeast is a very hilly terrain. You just cannot move from one place to another. From Guwahati to Shillong is hardly 100 kilometers, but you have to travel around 3 hours because the hilly road. In Mizoram, in Saiha, at the end of India, is really hilly, and through land connection or wire connection is really difficult because of the terrain, because of the weather, because of the rainy season. So telecom, the wireless telecom is very, very important. And in fact, we used to appreciate Prime Minister for, honoring our own traditional Assamese gamosa. It becomes a national kind of symbol for Indian people. Anybody, anywhere now, Assamese people see the gamosa in others' body, and recently gamosa has also got GI tag as well. So Prime Minister has taken a very interesting statement when he came to the power. He says, in India, the western part is developed, but eastern part of India is not much developed. My aim is to develop religion. And people of Northeast really believe in Prime Minister. So that is why so much of money has been pumped, and telecom, because we have to connect each other. Now it has developed. In fact, 4G communication has been sanctioned, and under Kishan Reddy is a young central minister. I believe that telecommunication as well as also rail connectivity, that is also developed. In the statistics say that in 68 years, Northeast has only limited air connectivity. 9 airports it was there, now it is around 17 airports, including recently inaugurated the Arunachal airport. So connecting people, because it's hilly terrain, it's a disturbed kind of zone earlier, and the communication through telecom, also 4G, or maybe we're expecting 5G connectivity in the next few weeks or months. So that way it helps to communicate. Northeastern journalists can report very easily. Earlier you used to send faxes. There is a down in connectivity, there is down in telecom line, and it's really difficult to connect, to report, to actually access the national media. Being a journalist in Northeast India, I have found it's too easy. Nothing wrong, nothing kind of difference whether I'm based in Guwahati or Delhi or even Mumbai or Hyderabad. I can compete with other journalists as well. So it's really appreciating job by Government of India. We appreciate them.
So you have the Northeast Special Infrastructure Development Scheme, especially for roads that you mentioned about earlier. There is also the railway line, the Agartala-Akhora railway line, which is linking Bangladesh's Akhora through an international immigration station at Nishchintapur. How do you see these linkages important for trade and commerce, especially with the Northeast being so strategically located? You mentioned about how it has all the international borders on its side.
So initially, the Chittagong port, that is the south of Bangladesh, that was used by the people of Northeast earlier, before the country was divided. But once Chittagong port becomes to Bangladesh, it becomes difficult for us. So Northeast India, we don't have any port. Now, Government of India has taken two initiatives. One is, let's use Chittagong port, as well as there is a port in Situate, that is the Arakan province of Myanmar. If that is possible through Kaladan multimodal project, that can be possible. It takes a little bit of time, but initially the Akhwara that connects Dhaka to Agartala and Agartala to Guwahati. Now Agartala Guwahati well connected by broad gauge railways, and once Akhwara is connected to Dhaka, then Dhaka to Kolkata. That is, from Guwahati I can visit two-way, from NJP to Kolkata, as well as from Guwahati to Agartala to Akhwara to Dhaka, and then Kolkata. So that way, the Bangladesh seaport, Bangladesh kind of market can be developed. A lot of Bangladeshi people come to even Guwahati for medical purposes. So India is really medical hub for Southeast Asia or maybe entire world. And Guwahati is slowly turning a healthcare center for entire Northeast India as well as northern Myanmar as well as northern Bangladesh, even in South Bangladesh. People come to Akhara, then cross the border, come to Agartala, then fly to Guwahati, and sometimes fly to Kolkata, then to Chennai. So that way, Akhara connecting Agartala and Dhaka is really significant. In that sense, for many years, when Bangladesh was alienated, suddenly Northeast become, alienated because of Bangladesh was born out of us. So it will be reduced now. Even then, is the Bangladesh separate country? No, there may be some other political complications. But even then, we can use their port. And I believe the Kaladan multimodal project that connects from Mizoram through Kaladan River of Burma up to Chitwe port, that is Akiu port, also known as, if that can be developed, then entire water connectivity for Northeast India will be changed. From Chennai, we will ferry the goods to the Chitwa port, and from Chitwa port from Kaladan River up to India border, and from Mizoram or Aizawl to Guwahati or other parts of India. So that way, connectivity, waterways, land as a railway is become very important, and significant development has taken place in the last few years.
There is also what is known as a Prime Minister Divine, the Development Initiative for the Northeastern region, outlay of 6,600 crore rupees, and it is supposed to be for larger and high-impact projects for infrastructure, social development and livelihood. How is this different from the other outlay?
I believe Prime Minister has spoken about Ostolakshmi, that 8 northeastern states, because Sikkim is now included in NEC. So Prime Minister has really, not as a political statement, not as a political campaigning before election, but he has wholeheartedly said this Ostolakshmi can be developed and it has a lot of potentiality. Northeast has many other potential for raw materials, for medicinal plants, for diverse cultural ethnic people, and lot of traditional knowledge, traditional medicinal practices, traditional knowledge, those can be developed. And in that sense, Northeast India, with all our diversity, we can actually develop a better democracy in the country. And anybody from Chennai or Mumbai come to Northeast, see how we are so different and so united. What is unity and diversity is more relevant in Northeast India. Prime Minister, I believe, he has understood the potential of the region, potential of the people, and some kind of earlier mindset that we are not Indian. So that has been changed. And it was a big difference. From Mizoram, a lot of students go to cities, they study, a lot of IS officers from Mizoram, a lot of Assamese writers, intellectual, filmmakers, then doctors, they have developed themselves. So in that sense, we have some international reputed filmmakers, then theatre personality from Manipur, Rotontiam, they all improve. And in fact, I proudly say that India has a 6 classical dance forms. And Northeast India, we have hardly 60 million people. But we have also developed 2 Margyo dances. One is Manipuri Meitei dances and another is Sattva dances. So we Northeastern people also contributed the cultural mosaic of India. Across India we have 7 and Northeast India we have contributed 2 classical dance forms. So that way its potentiality, I think, is realized by Prime Minister, and his commitment, his vision and his mission to develop, it has changed. I think his body language, his approach has already changed the mindset of the people.
Mr. Nawab, what about the special packages for the 3 councils, the territorial councils? You have the Bodoland Territorial Council, you have the Karbi Anglong Autonomous Territorial Council and the Dima Hasao Autonomous Territorial Council in Assam. How important is this briefly?
Is important because in a 6th schedule, we talk about the ethnicity, the preservation, the conservation of the ethnicity. The Bodo was the earliest settler in Assam. That is a Dima Hasao, it is called North Kasar district, now it is Dima Hasao district. And also Karbi people. They are under Assamese nationalism or under Indian nationalism, but they are really different. Then they have a different language, not inclined to Sanskrit. They have a different kind of culture, different kind of people. So the council is empowered to take local decisions. It's a local government. It's government under government. They are not under government of Assam, but they can take a lot of decisions. So all the territorial council or autonomous council are allowed to take decisions, understanding the local issues. So supporting those council, actually are supporting those ethnic people and who are actually real inhabitants of this region. And respecting them, funding them, supporting their students, supporting their people, supporting them with the modern technologies. It will help us. It will help the India, and India can showcase the international arena that, look, this is the people who are so tribal, so natural, live on nature, so pure, and we have developed them under their own system of territorial or autonomous council.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nawab Thakuria, for being with us on this program and speaking to us extensively on the government's transformative efforts for the holistic development of Northeast India.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on government's transformative efforts for the holistic development of Northeast India. The participants were Nava Thakuria, senior journalist, and Arjun J. Chaudhary, AIR correspondent. This program was produced and presented by the News Services Division of All India Radio. You can listen to it on our mobile app, News on AIR.